Last Tuesday, a 66-year-old man walked into a restaurant in downtown Chicago. He wasn't wearing anything flashy. He wasn't loud. He didn't walk in with a crowd of friends turning heads. He was just a man, over 60, ordinary height, gray hair, nothing remarkable on the surface. And yet, within 15 seconds, two women at separate tables both turned to look at him, not a glance, a study, the kind of long, slow look that women give when something registers in a part of the brain they're not fully conscious of. I watched this happen. I was sitting 3 tables away, and I spent the next hour asking myself one question: what did they see? Because here's what I know for certain: those women were not looking at his age. They were not ignoring it either. They were reading something specific, something physical, that his body was communicating without him saying a single word. Today, I'm going to break down the 7 exact things women unconsciously notice about men over 60. And I'm going to tell you what women are actually scanning for in each one, because it is almost certainly not what you think. Number 5 on this list is something most men over 60 have quietly given up on. They don't think it matters anymore, but it is one of the most powerful attraction signals a mature man can send. And once you understand it, the transformation possible here is almost unfair. And number 7, the final one, is the most surprising of all. It's not a body part in the traditional sense, but it's the one that ties every other signal together into a single, undeniable impression. Stay with me through all 7. By the end of this, you are going to look at aging and attraction in a completely different way. Welcome back to Secrets Inside the Mind. I'm Liza. This is the channel where we have honest, real conversations about love, attraction, and the human heart. No games, no surface level tips, just truth. I post every single day, and every video is designed to help you understand yourself and the people around you more deeply. If you haven't subscribed yet, please do that right now. It genuinely means the world to me. Hit that button and let's get into today's conversation. Let's start with the one that surprises men the most. Not the face, not the body, the hands. Renowned relationship therapist Esther Perel, who has spent decades studying the psychology of desire, describes hands as what she calls the primary canvas of intimacy. Her research shows that women unconsciously read a man's hands to understand how he moves through the world, how he treats things, how he might treat her, and this reading happens faster than conscious thought. A major grooming survey found that 68% of women reported being immediately put off by poorly maintained hands during a first meeting. That's more than 2 out of every 3 women, noticing something that most men have never once thought to consider. So what specifically are women scanning for? First, grooming. Not salon polished, not moisturized like a hand model, just maintained. Clean nails, trimmed appropriately. This sounds elementary, but the number of otherwise attractive, confident men who neglect their hands completely is staggering. Second, movement. Are the hands calm and deliberate when he speaks, or restless and anxious? Slow, deliberate hand gestures signal confidence. Quick, nervous movement signals insecurity, regardless of what the man is actually saying. Third, evidence of capability. Women don't want hands that look unused. They want hands that look like they have done things. Some slight roughness, some definition. The kind of hands that have built things, fixed things, held things with purpose. A woman told me about meeting a 64-year-old man at a dinner party. She said she noticed his hands before she noticed his face. They were weathered, but clean, calm when resting, expressive when he talked about his woodworking. She told me those hands told her everything she needed to know before he said more than 10 words. The good news? Hand care is simple. Basic moisturizer, regular nail maintenance, and conscious awareness of how you move your hands when you speak. That's the full list. Before we go further, if you're getting real value from this conversation, hit that subscribe button right now. I'm Liza. This is Secrets Inside the Mind, and I post every single day. Hit subscribe, turn on notifications, and let's keep going. I know, I can already feel your skepticism. Forearms? Really? Yes, really. And the science behind this is both solid and fascinating. Across multiple independent studies, when women were asked to rank attractive body parts on men from a list that included chest, abs, face, shoulders, and more, forearms ranked surprisingly high, higher than chest, higher than abs. In some studies, they competed directly with the face. Esther Perel discusses what she calls micro-exposures in attraction, the small, intimate revelations that occur in ordinary moments and trigger genuine interest. A rolled sleeve revealing a forearm is exactly this. It's intimate without being intentional. It's revealing without being excessive. Biologically, forearms signal physical capability. The muscles there are working muscles, used for gripping, lifting, controlling physical reality. They tell a woman at a level beneath conscious thought that this man can handle things. A woman I know, mid-50s, extremely articulate about her attraction patterns, told me about a contractor who came to work in her home. She described him as entirely ordinary, average height, average face, 62 years old with gray hair, but when he rolled up his sleeves, something shifted in how she perceived the entire interaction. She laughed when she told me. I didn't even know I noticed forearms until I couldn't stop noticing his. For men over 60, forearms are actually an area where age works in your favor. Decades of real-world use create a lived-in definition that gym exercises alone can't replicate. The key is maintaining enough muscle mass through basic activity, keeping the skin healthy with hydration, and, critically, actually showing them. Everyone knows eyes matter. That's not news. But what women over 35 are actually scanning for in the eyes of a man over 60 goes far deeper than color or conventional attractiveness. Esther Perel writes about what she calls the gaze of presence, the quality of attention communicated through a man's eyes when he looks at someone. Is he truly there in that moment or mentally elsewhere? Is he seeing the person in front of him or looking past her? A study from Western University in Canada found something that directly challenges what most men believe about aging. The lines around a man's eyes, the so-called crow's feet, were perceived by women not as negative, but as attractive, more genuine, more warm, more trustworthy than faces without them. Those lines are the evidence of a life spent laughing, squinting into sunlight, feeling things deeply. What women are specifically scanning for in the eyes of an older man comes down to three things. The quality of attention when a man looks at a woman during conversation, does she feel truly seen? Expressiveness, do his eyes change when he talks about something he cares about, or do they remain flat and unreadable? And health indicators, clear whites, alertness, appropriate moisture, which signal overall vitality. A woman told me about meeting her current partner when she was 58 and he was 62. She couldn't even tell me the color of his eyes when I asked, but she could describe in precise detail the way they focused on her when she spoke. She said, "I felt interesting. I felt like what I was saying mattered to him, and that feeling was created entirely by how his eyes behaved." This one surprises people, but the science is consistent across multiple studies. The jawline and neck region is one of the first areas women use to assess what researchers call biological vitality, a subconscious, almost automatic reading of a man's overall health and self-care. And while popular culture associates a strong jaw with youth for men over 60, the jaw communicates something different, and in many ways more compelling. Dr. David Givens, an anthropologist who has spent his career studying nonverbal communication, found that the jaw and neck region is processed by women within the first 2 seconds of face-to-face interaction, not after a conversation, within 2 seconds. And this processing happens almost entirely below the level of conscious awareness. What women are actually reading here is not perfection, it is definition and intentionality. A jaw that is reasonably defined, even accounting for the natural changes that come with age, combined with well-groomed facial hair, sends one powerful signal: this man takes care of himself. He pays attention to detail. He hasn't given up. For men over 60, a clean neckline on any beard or stubble, trimmed and intentional edges, and skin that is kept reasonably healthy in the jaw area, these things together communicate something far more attractive than a conventionally perfect face at 30. They communicate that a man is still engaged with life, still showing up. We are right in the middle of the list, and the next three are where things get genuinely surprising. If you're watching this and haven't subscribed yet, now is the moment. Hit subscribe, drop a comment telling me which of these has surprised you most so far, and let's keep going with number 5. This is the one I told you about at the beginning. The thing most men over 60 have completely abandoned caring for, the one they've quietly decided no longer matters, the one that is simultaneously under constant and intense female observation. Posture, the set of the shoulders, the way a man carries himself through space. Research published in the Personality and Social Psychology Bulletin found something remarkable. Expansive, upright posture increased perceived attractiveness more significantly than clothing, grooming, or even facial symmetry. Participants consistently rated individuals with open, upright postures as more attractive, more confident, and more desirable as partners, regardless of what those individuals actually looked like. Esther Perel describes posture as a core element of what she calls erotic presence, the physical expression of a man's internal energy. A man can be conventionally attractive and hold himself in a way that neutralizes all of it. A man with entirely ordinary features can become genuinely compelling through the way he carries himself. For men over 60, posture has become a choice, and that choice communicates one of two things: surrender to aging or continued vitality. Rolled forward shoulders signal defeat, withdrawal, protection; pulled back shoulders signal openness, engagement, confidence. Women read this distinction instantly, automatically, and without mercy. A woman in her early 60s described attending a class reunion. She told me about two men, same age, same general build, same amount of gray hair. One walked in with rounded shoulders and his head angled slightly down. The other walked in with shoulders back, chin level, measured and deliberate strides. She said the contrast was so stark it was almost comical. One of them looked 20 years older than the other, she told me. They were born in the same year. No other single change, not haircut, not clothing, not any intervention you could name, produces a more dramatic shift in how women perceive a man over 60. And unlike almost every other physical attribute, posture is entirely and completely within your control. This goes far beyond just the smile, though the smile matters enormously. Women process a man's mouth on multiple levels simultaneously during any real conversation. The dental condition, the lips, the way words are formed, the pace of speech, the willingness to express rather than suppress. A survey conducted by the American Dental Association found that 73% of women named dental appearance as one of the first physical features they notice, and this percentage increased among older respondents. But here is the most interesting finding: women are not looking for perfect teeth. Overly perfect, uniformly white teeth can actually read as artificial, as performed. What women are looking for is baseline care, clean, fresh, maintained, the absence of obvious neglect. Beyond dental health, what women are scanning for in the mouth of an older man is behavioral. Does he speak with deliberate clarity? Does he form his words with confidence, taking genuine pauses that signal actual thought? Or does he mumble, rush, and fill silence with noise? The lines around the mouth, from decades of expression, laughter, animated conversation, can read as distinguished rather than aged. They tell a story of a man who has expressed himself throughout his life, a man who has felt things and shown them, and the smile. When it appears slowly, when it builds, reaches the eyes, and looks like it was genuinely earned by the moment, it becomes one of the most powerful attraction signals available to any man at any age. Women can detect the difference between a genuine smile and a performed one with remarkable accuracy. The genuine one is almost universally compelling. A woman described her attraction to her current partner specifically through his mouth. She said, "I noticed how he spoke first, measured, clear, with pauses that showed he was actually thinking. Then I noticed his smile, which appeared slowly and never looked rushed. I trusted that mouth before I consciously decided to trust the man attached to it." And now we've reached number 7, the one I told you at the beginning would surprise you most. It's not a single body part in the traditional sense, but it is the physical feature that ties every other signal on this list into a single, unified impression. And it is the thing that ultimately determines whether a woman sees a man as vital or diminished. It is the quality of movement, the overall physical intelligence of how a man moves through space. Research on what's called biological motion perception, the way humans process each other's movement, shows that women can extract remarkable amounts of information from movement alone. Health, confidence, emotional state, physical capability. They can do this even when all other visual information is removed, just from the pattern of motion. For older men, movement can either confirm or completely contradict every other signal the body is sending. A man can have good posture while standing still, capable-looking hands, present eyes, and then get up from a chair with a collapse, cross a room with a shuffle, and undo every positive signal his appearance was communicating. Conversely, a man who moves with intention, who rises from a chair with control, walks across a room with measured, unhurried steps, turns to look at someone by moving his whole body rather than just his eyes, creates an impression of vitality that overrides every surface-level physical detail. What specifically creates attractive movement in a man over 60? Slowness with purpose, not slowness from fatigue or hesitation, the deliberate, unhurried slowness of a man who knows where he is going and is not in a rush to prove it. This reads as confidence at the most fundamental physical level. Economy of motion, removing unnecessary anxious fidgeting movement, the restless leg, the constant small adjustments. Still, purposeful movement broadcasts internal calm, full body engagement, turning toward people with the whole body, not just the head, leaning in with intention when listening, physically orienting toward whoever is speaking. This creates a quality of physical attention that women find deeply compelling. Esther Perel summarizes everything we've covered today in a single concept. She says that desire responds to aliveness, to presence, to energy, to the sense that a person is genuinely engaged with life. And she notes that this quality is not primarily communicated through words, it is communicated through the body, through how a person occupies space, moves through rooms, exists in the physical world. Movement is where aliveness becomes visible, and for men over 60, movement is a choice. Every time you enter a room, every time you stand up, every time you turn to look at someone, you are either choosing vitality or confirming decline. So there they are, Seven things, seven specific physical signals that women unconsciously scan when they encounter a man over 60. Hands that show capability and care, forearms that signal physical competence, eyes that communicate genuine presence, a jaw and neck that signal intentional self maintenance, shoulders and posture that announce continued vitality, a mouth that previews both health and the potential for real connection, and the quality of movement, the living dynamic expression of every other signal, woven together into a single physical story. None of this requires a gym membership. None of it requires expensive treatments or radical interventions. What it requires is attention, the recognition that attraction does not end at 60. It shifts its focus, it recalibrates around different signals, and the men who understand this shift, who pay attention to these seven areas while their peers stop caring, create something that can only be described as an unfair advantage. All seven of these signals share one thing in common. They are not passive features. They are not things that happen to you. They are expressions of engagement, of a man who is actively present in his own body, in his own life, in the world around him. Women read all of this because it tells a story that words alone can never tell. And for men over 60, that story can be one of two things: continued engagement with life or gradual quiet retreat from it. The choice is visible in these seven places, whether men realize they are making it or not. If this video gave you something real today, if even one of these seven things shifted how you think, do me one favor. Hit subscribe if you haven't already, and drop a comment below telling me which of the seven surprised you most. I read every single comment on this channel, every single one. I'm Liza, this is Secrets Inside the Mind. I post every single day, and tomorrow's video is one you genuinely won't want to miss. Subscribe, turn on your notifications, and I will see you tomorrow.